I was in Mount Athos in 1991, let's say 20 years ago. As a tourist in Greece. I was Orthodox already, and I went by chance from Daphne. Closest was what looked like Tibet, Simonos Petra. You know, when I was in Tibet, it looks very similar. The monastery, so that makes me feel like in Tibet, so I go there. And in that time, there was a doctor. He was a Greek man, and he's been a physician, a doctor in Germany, I think dentist, and he became a monk later. And when he heard that Germany is there, he came and talked to me. That guy was so convincing, I almost stayed and became a monk. But my wife was waiting in Uranopolis, so I couldn't. So it was my first, only one night but I loved it very much. And a short visit to Grigorio. And that's it. And now, 20 years later, I feel, and I had a provocative question. Are Άγιο Όρος, are there holy mountains? Does it exist? Can a mountain be holy? If you take it literally. Because when I was in America as a hippie with the Indians, they have holy lakes, holy mountains, holy oak trees, and they kneel down. I cannot kneel down to an oak tree, it's not healing me. Sorry, a lake is not healing me. Maybe like Bethesda, you know, in Jerusalem, when the angel, that was different. But so, my provocative question is, can there be a holy mountain? Or is it the Spirit, because there are so many monasteries, but it's a Spirit, the Holy Spirit. It's the garden of the Mother of God. So, the holiness, I think, is not the earth, the mountain itself, but material can be healing. We know that from miraculous icons. So I am here because my friend from Emplo Lambis and others have friends here. And as I am not a monk, but I am, well, I'm black, you know. Did I tell you why, when I asked Father Sophroni, when I met him first time, Father, why are you dressed so black? Look at the world, it's colorful and so like that. And it was in Lausanne in Switzerland. And Father Sophroni took me to the window and said, look out the cars. It was a big road going underneath the window. And he said, observe the cars of the cars. And blue Volkswagen, a green Opel, a black Mercedes, a yellow, you know, Fiat, what all these kind of cars. And he said, he looked in my eyes and said, which car did you like most, Klaus? I said, well, the most elegant I saw passing was this black Mercedes. And he said, that's why we are black. That was my first question to Father Sophroni when I met him the first day. Humor, not theological, you know, high ranking, whatever. He came down to my level. I think that was the secret for many years. Father Sophroni was not on my level, but he was under me. Christ said, put yourself under the other. And there are unfortunately many priests, they teach you they give you lesson after lesson. And they're so high, so important. And recently I said to one bishop, he came to visit me, it's nice to be important, but it's more important to be nice. So, because this is the point. It's the experience with him from the beginning. What touched me, I think he saw that I didn't have love in my life. So when I met him for the 10 years, when I visited him in Essex, normally he would come to my room. It was the other way around, because from when we met in Lausanne, I dare to say we became friends. But maybe everybody has that feeling with him, probably. But you just felt I was a friend with him. And very private question, I asked him, are you a sinner? He said, I'm the worst sinner. I said, Father Sophroni, you must be kidding. I spoke very frank with him, you know, not spiritually. So, how can you be a sinner? I know that you're a saint. And he said, well, only one sinner is bigger than me, is St. Paul. He said, I'm the chief of all sinners, but I'm really a sinner. And I asked him questions like, Father Sophroni, do you have why? Why God allows this? Why? You know, why is this? Why? Do you have whys in your life? Or are you so wise now? He said, I am a big living why. I said, but I have an answer, Klaus. He said, you are the answer to the why. And I said, what do you mean, Father Sophroni? And he said, you see an accident. Why God allows that this kid is having an accident? the answer is you, Klaus. I mean, go and help. You do something about it. You are the answer. In every situation, you, by your being, or on, we come back to the point, you are the answer to the why. And that was a big, big lesson for me. And then later, of course, about the introduction in the Jesus prayer, and sometimes we were sitting an hour, 2 hours together in my room. And I wanted to write down on papers what he said. He said, forget about it. Klaus, you will forget anyway. I lost all the papers, very funny. And he said, well, you read my book, We Shall See Him As He Is, and you will remember everything we talked about. And actually it happens like that. Very often while I talk, things come back which we said, we were talking about. But what was maybe the most important with Father Sophroni was when he was sitting to me, putting his arm around me, and I felt like he had a big syringe, you know, and it was pumping love in me. Love, love, love. And so when he died, love cannot die. And this love I share with the world now, and the more I give, the more I get. It doesn't get empty. The more you give, the more you have. That's Father Sophroni. That was so great with him. These moments. But another funny thing, you know, when I came first to Essex, apart from Lausanne, Switzerland, he said, Klaus, you're a musician. Yeah, yeah. So bring your guitar. Father Zacharias, Father Raphael, all the fathers on one side, the sisters on one other side, and I was sitting in the refectory and playing rock and roll for the fathers, you know. I just, since that time, the whole monastery were my friends, except one elderly sister. She was upset. I mean, she was okay, but now we smile each other also. Yeah, all these other things, which it's not in my book, it's in the English book. All these things are in my English book now, my talks with Father Sophroni. Like when I want to publish my book, I was signing a contract with a publisher in London. He was the world's biggest Christian Protestant publisher, and they paid me for signing only £250, but then 10% every copy in Australia, in England, in America. I thought I would be a millionaire in 1 year. And when Father Sophroni heard it, he said, don't publish the book. I said, Father Sophroni, I signed the contract. They wait for the script, the typescript. What can I do? He asked me, do you want me to pray for it? Well, then you pray, but this contract is a contract. Father Sophroni's prayers is miraculous. That's how I found him. With other situations, again, I don't know if I remember now, but then the first year, the publisher sent me 0 sold copies. I think they had forgotten about me. The second year, 0 sold copies. The third year, 0 sold copies. So I think you don't sell your copies, put everything on ice, let's wait. And this reminds me, of course, I asked Father Raphael or Father Zacharias once, how long did it take you to go to preach? And Father Zacharias told me 16 years, forbade me to speak, to open my mouth, go preaching. First you live, then you preach. Protestants preach all the time. After 3 years, they're let loose on humanity. They're dangerous. So my book is 18 years later, and then I rewrote everything, and it was controlled in Essex. They corrected the book. They looked. Everybody was involved. So see, the same moment again, the same time, to get maturity, and then the blessing was there, and now the book came. See, that's the prayers of Father Sophroni. When I wanted to be baptized, I felt chrismation is not enough for me. I have been so intense in everything, and if I want to make a new start in Orthodoxy, I felt from my heart I want to be baptized. I want to be immersed, dying in the water. And I went to the priest in Geneva, in the Orthodox Center in Chambézy, and the priest, it was a friend of mine, I said, I don't baptize you. You're baptized when you were a Catholic child with 3 years old. We don't baptize, it's valid. I went back to Father Sophroni, said, I complained. He doesn't want to baptize me, but I feel I want to be baptized. Father Sophroni again said, let me pray for it, but don't tell him. Don't tell him. I just pray for it. I went back. I said, Father Johann, Père Jean, I want to be baptized. Yes, next Saturday. Praise the Father Sophroni. He's so powerful. So out of time, you see. All the meetings. This was my 10 years of apprenticeship of orthodoxy, plus the writings, of course, of Nikolai Velimirovich and of the Orthodox books, the Orthodox fathers, and it became my family. I was very proud now in St. Vladimir's in Pennsylvania. He was, Nikolai Velimirovich, bishop, was director, and I had a big talk there in the hall. I felt, wow. Because Father Sophroni was made diacon by Velimirovich on Mount Athos. See how we are all a family. It's so wonderful. It's a little paradise on earth.